Can you offer any update on possible injured players, change in the lineup for Tuesday?
That's as boring as I'll be. I don't have an update on our guys. All I know is after the game, um, I think everybody that played looked fine. Do we have bumps and bruises? Of course. I mean, it's the playoffs. I'm sure it's the same for them. And then we'll have to evaluate that tomorrow after the practice and see where we're at with who's available and who's not.
24 hours after yesterday, what's your next evaluation? What did you think of last night's game?
Well, I thought we played really well. I thought we came out hard. We just made the same types of mistakes, though, that we made the two previous games in the first period, and it cost us. And I think that's characteristic of their team. They don't need that many scoring chances to put it in, and they get those on the rushes a lot, and we gave it to them. And so obviously we need to avoid that, especially there. That killed us in both of the games there. And but I think I liked is how we managed it after. We managed it a lot differently than we did the two games there. We stuck to our plan. We didn't get impatient, and we just slowly grinded them out and got one goal at a time and just stayed ourselves. And I think that's the difference. We didn't start right. In the first game there, because I think of the intensity they had, but I thought we totally gave it away after by being impatient, trying to come back, and we corrected that yesterday. So we'll see how we start on Tuesday. We obviously can't look like we did the two games there, or else there's no chance for us. So we'll have to look into what we need to do to look better.
One player doesn't make a victory, but the players following the game last night, most of them were pretty quick to point out the significance of Chris Neal's presence. What was the feeling you got behind the bench with him on the bench?
Well, I wasn't just on the bench. I think it was also before the game. He's a player that's gained a lot of respect over the years, not just from his peers, but I think from the fans and from the other players in the league. And he's not just a tough guy. He's a guy he's a character guy. He's a guy that's brought a lot of leadership to our group, and he's had a terrific attitude during the games that he didn't play in the playoffs. And I'm sure it's difficult to deal with when you're not playing, whether it's him or Kelly and those guys. But I think that I've always thought, and I said it being in the playoffs, we will need everybody depending on what we need for particular games. And following the two games in New York, it was clear that we needed to answer back some of the liberties they were taking on our skill guys, and the answer back with our own gritty guys. And I thought he did a terrific job with his presence. I thought he did a terrific job of what he needed to do on the ice, but also off the ice. And yes, it did lift our guys up. And a lot of our skilled guys played a terrific game. And I thought they felt protected, and they felt that we were able to answer back what the opponent was giving us.
Maybe an unfair question, but is it a no-brainer that he remains in the lineup for Tuesday?
Like I said, after every game, we reassess and we look at the other team's lineup, and we look at ours and who's available, who's not. And but he's definitely somebody that has a chance to play next game for sure.
Will you be lobbying perhaps for an afternoon start on Tuesday? The way they've gone?
Yeah. Well, I think wherever, whenever, and I think we just got to be better. We got to be better than we were there. They're a great team, but we don't need to give them freebies, and that's the one thing we need to avoid. Those freebies at the beginning of the game definitely lifts them up and gives them confidence, and in front of their crowd, that's very loud and very intimidating. You want to make sure that you don't give them those ones. They're hard enough to beat as it is. That the freebies we got to get rid of, and that definitely will be one of our focus for sure.
What stops that then? Because I'm going to say 5 games you've given up breakaways or odd man rushes. I know it's part of the game. Do you just live with that for the most part, or is there something that?
Well, no, you don't want to live with it. The reality is this: is they've done that against everybody. It's not us; it's them. They're that good. They're that fast on every line. You try to get Grabner no scoring chances, forget it. It's not going to happen. He's got that much speed that at some point or another he gets away. And we know that, but even if you know that, trying to defend it, except for maybe having 5 guys back, I don't see how we're not going to give anything against that team. They're like I said, they're Stanley Cup contender that's got 1,000 playoff games under their belt, and you can see that experience come out in different moments of the game. And I think in their first periods have been really good, and we have to be able to do a better job in the first period, and then have our game be consistent the rest of the after. Doesn't mean we'd win, but it means at least we give ourselves a chance. We didn't give ourselves any chances there. So yeah, those breakaways and those 2-on-1s and those 3-on-2s or 4-on-2s, we got to limit that as much as we can, because that's what hurt us, and that's their strength. And so obviously it's always the same. You got to defend against the other team's strengths, and you got to attack their weakness.
Is part of that because your D comes down and pinches quite a bit, that they get behind that?
Yeah, but it's not just the D. It's our forward sniffing in there, and that's what's happened. Our third man has sniffed in a few occasions at the same time as the D. So bad communication or the nerves, and then all of a sudden we don't do it anymore, and then we look good. Yeah, we're a very aggressive team in the offensive zone, and that's where they've got. They haven't got. People talk about the neutral zone, but they haven't got their chances off the neutral zone stuff. They got their chances and they're scoring mostly from our O zone. What we do on the forecheck in the O zone, what we do once we have the puck and we get some O zone possession, and then we lose the puck. They're a big time counteract team, and the minute you lose the puck, they're gone, and they're so fast that it's very tough to catch up to them. Contrary to some other teams where teams take off, but you catch up to them. These guys, you don't catch up to them, and we got to be smarter.
What makes Eric defend top lines so effectively? Like, is there some skill set he has?
Yeah, well, first of all, he's got speed. He's got speed forward and backwards. If you looked at what he's done this year, his back check has probably been, for me, the most impressive stuff I've seen. I mean, everybody talks about his skill, but going on offense, being a line behind the top-end player from the opponent and seeing him catch up all the way back to our net, get the puck, and take off with the puck, not a lot of guys can do that. So that's very impressive. So the speed for sure, but it's also his lateral gapping, his forward, backwards, and lateral gapping is terrific. And he's so smart that he has a flair for when to step. And he was definitely a top shot blocker in the league, so that's also part of the defensive part. And I think probably his best asset is his stick on puck. Stick on puck is terrific, so I think now he's using a lot of stick on puck and finishing bodies and getting the puck. So it's a lot of defensive tools that he's displayed this year, and that's made him a real terrific two-way player now.
Was that a significant goal for Mark Stone early on Saturday? It just seems like he's kind of gone through a roller coaster of emotions throughout.
Yeah, you know what? He's a player that is very proud and has got a lot of character, and he knows what he's worth and what he can do, and you could see that he cared so much about being at his best, and I'm so happy for him. I thought he had a terrific game, and to me, Turris and Stone were unbelievable in that game. Like, Turris was a horse. That's his best game I've seen him play. With his physicality, it's not just the body checks. I look at the video after the game, and he was at the net every shift. He was banging guys. He was first on puck, taking checks, making plays, back checking. He was unbelievable, and I think Stoner was the same. And the fact that he got us that first character pushback goal. His emotion really carried on into our on the bench and in our group, and obviously the top guys showed up. And Hoff got a big goal, and I think we had a real team effort in that game. There's a real team push, and whether it's Neil's contribution, presence, or it's Turris and Stone, Eric, our goaltender making some big saves at the right time. Our lineup, I think, was good, and our guys were ready, and we had a really proud pushback. And now our issue is to be able to do the same in New York, where we have not looked good at all, and so we have to figure out a way to put our team on the ice in New York.